From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Right now, get a great deal on the durable Kubota RTVX. When there's work to do and a reputation to uphold, it's built to haul it all and do it all. Half-ton capabilities with attachments to get the job done right. And industry-exclusive heavy-duty features. It's North America's #1 selling diesel utility vehicle. Now, get the RTVX for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months or save $300.
Tractors, RTV, construction equipment. You do it all, we do it local.
Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Mike Kruger from Weather NorCal here, and before we get started I want you to know that as of recording this and when I'm talking about the Ruby Fire, you need to understand that it is a moving target. So by the time you're watching this, there's a very good chance that some of the information may have changed. So keep that in mind as we're kind of talking about this, but as I'm recording this, you've got the Ruby Fire. That's the big story for the afternoon. Now we're looking at watch duty right now, and here you can see there's Summit City, of course the city of Shasta Lake, and there is the Ruby Fire right there. What I'm going to do is I am going to click on that fire. It's a little raw, so you'll have to kind of excuse this here, but there you can see all the evacuation orders, which we're going to get into that in just a second here. As I said, that's a moving target as well, so some of those may change as well. But what I want to do, and you can see here the latest updates here, there's some of the warnings, but we've seen some orders get reduced to warnings. And then, of course, you can see some of the initial views. There's a report coming in from CAL FIRE. And latest report is that forward progress has stopped at about 7 acres. So let's zoom it in here, nice and tight, right there on where the fire perimeter is. Now, this is coming in from FIRIS. Of course, this is just an agency that kind of gives you a kind of a preliminary report on that. So I'm going to zoom it in here, see if I can get it just a little bit tighter, maybe get some of those roads in there. So there, of course, you've got Duval Road right here. This is Ruby Lane right here, which I believe would be why the fire is called that. But there you can see the perimeter. Now, we can't take this to be exact, right? But as we look at the Google Maps here, we're seeing that it went around these homes and these structures. I don't think that that's a structure like that. Let me just double check. That does not look like a structure. Looks like maybe we've gotten to the backyard and near this home right here as we're looking at, let me see if I can see that a little bit better here. That's Duval Drive right there. So there's Duval Drive, and here is Duval. Boy, that's these, I've just never seen some of these names. Oh, Duval Drive. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. Duval Drive goes like right here, and then of course goes over here, and then you've got Lake Boulevard right here. So of course this is Lake Boulevard, there's Duval Drive that goes right around here. So that's kind of where that fire goes around. Now of course there's another house right here, so it looks like maybe it kind of skipped over there, or maybe it started here, and this is what spread there. But due to the fact that the winds are mainly coming in from the north, I would be led to believe that the fire started somewhere here, and then maybe an ember started here. We also have a little bit of a burning right here. There's a house there. So as of right now, based on what we're looking at here, it looks like no houses were burned in the event of this. But keep in mind that that conditions may change here. They've stopped forward progress. There's 0% containment at this point, so they got to get containment lines around this fire as well. So that's kind of the latest looking right now at that fire perimeter. Let's go ahead and take you to the most recent evacuation warnings and orders. So here's, of course, the lake itself, right? You've got the orders here, and then the evacuation warnings are right here. So kind of give you an idea where the south end of where those orders are, excuse me, where the warnings are. This is Shallon Drive and Williams Road right here. So Williams Road and then Newton, right? Now we're going to kind of take you up north and kind of take you to where, so this is Shasta Dam Boulevard that we're looking at right here. And then of course it just continues to progress northward here. There's of course Shasta Dam Boulevard, then it kind of comes around here. So that's what we're looking at as far as the orders are concerned. That of course then goes northward off into Keswick 3080. So again, most likely you should know your zone. Now, here's what I want you to do. if you're in one of these areas. What you can do here, and I was going to show you how my website works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you first of all to my home page. Okay, we're going to get you to the home page here. And what I want to do is just kind of show you how you can navigate, because I've really put together this great fire page for you to get really most, if not all of the information that you need. All right, so you're going to scroll down here and you're going to see right here, it says fire danger. So you're going to click on fire danger. Let's go ahead and click on that. And what this will do is start off with, of course, the Watch Duty app. And you can go in here and you can, of course, it's all interactive. So you can click on any of the fires you want for information there. And then you can scroll down and get more information here. Here you can take a look at some of the significant fire potential. You keep scrolling down, and this is where you can have the evacuation. This is where it'll tell you the evacuation. So just kind of zoom in. You can also type in your address right here. And when you type in your address, it'll then zoom in right on your address to see if there are any evacuation orders or any warnings in your area. So again, these are the most recent ones right now as of this recording. So just keep that in mind if you are watching this. Now, another thing I want to do here is I want to show you the high resolution satellite image. Now, of course, we're looking at the fires off to the north and west, and that's to be expected. This is around the vicinity of where the Ruby fire is. I'm just not seeing any smoke plumes coming from that. Even from when the fire first started, I'm not seeing any smoke plumes. So it ended up not being a very large fire. But you can see a lot of smoke heading out to the west here, coming in from the fires off to the north and to the west. All right, so we are done with that part of it. I wanted to show you Battery Point up in Crescent City, and you can see that smoke that is coming off to the west here, off the coast here. So there's all that smoke right there. If you were to point this camera northward, you'd be looking at mainly clear skies. So as you head south, that's where most of that smoke is, south of Crescent City here, between Crescent City and Eureka. Now, another thing that's significant when we're talking about fires are the winds and the wind speeds. But I mean, you look at this and there's really not very strong winds out there. And that was really a saving grace for the firefighters out there as that fire started here. And really, for the most part, even as I looked closer to where the fire is, I didn't see any strong winds there either. So again, that was a bit of a saving grace. There's where most of the fire signatures are. Of course, the Ruby fire is not going to be picked up most likely by the satellite. But again, that's good. Now, we're on the topic of fires. Let's take a look at that smoke forecast. This is actually a prescribed burn that we're looking at right here. So it is producing a little bit of smoke, but you can see some of the smoke coming in off towards the north and west that we typically would see. Now, not really too concerned for Siskiyou County for your Friday, right? But as we go into Saturday, look at this. We might see a big plume of smoke go into central and western Siskiyou County. So things may get a little bit smoky for you Saturday morning in Siskiyou County. But as you start heading eastward into Modoc County, it probably won't be as bad. And I don't anticipate any of that making its way into the valley either. All right, we're going to go ahead and switch gears now and take a look at the camera from Redding. Now, I can't point it north, but I can't really see much. It looks like there's a little bit of haze out there, maybe coming in from the Ruby fire, but for the most part, we've got those blue skies out here. So here's the deal. We've got a cooling trend going into the weekend. It was a hot day out there today. We're going to take a look at some of those high temperatures, but a big temperature drop as we go into next week. And going into this weekend, we're talking about mountain rain and maybe some thunderstorms, even quite possibly into early next week. All right, so here are the high temperatures so far today. Yes, we did see 100 degrees or higher for most of us in the valley. 102 for Redding, 104 for a high in Red Bluff, which, by the way, the record in Red Bluff is 109. So we were nowhere near that record. Chico, 100 degrees as well. I was actually anticipating in that forecast at a high of 98 for Chico. But Chico, you made it up to 100 degrees today. Weaverville, 97 this afternoon, 96 in Hayfork. Alturas only a high of 85 degrees, Chester 86, and Bernie a high today of about 91. So yes, it was a very hot day out there today. You know, even though we're in the middle of going to see a cooling trend starting tomorrow, I do anticipate that there's a chance some of us may touch 100 degrees even tomorrow. So which begs the questions, are we done? Are we done with the triple-digit heat? Well, I hate to say yes, and the reason being is, take a look at the earliest we've hit 100 degrees based off of the records in Redding since 1893. The earliest we've ever seen it hit 100 degrees for the first time of the year was May 4th, 1992, where we saw a high of 100 degrees. This year, the first day we saw 100 degrees or higher was June 4th, so exactly a month after that. Okay, now we take a look at the latest we've seen 100 degrees or higher before that was the end for the year. And we saw it both in 1991 and just last year of October 14th. So what is today? Yeah, today's the 14th. So exactly a month from now, there was still triple-digit heat in those years. Now, I don't anticipate that happening this year, but so to confidently say we are done with triple-digit heat, I can't do that, because when you look at the climate data, we've seen it in the past go well into October. All right, so that kind of maybe answers your question, but I know people like that definitive answer. Yes, no, yes, no. We can't do that, especially when you're looking a month out, because sometimes we get those surprise heat waves that can take everyone and just take everyone off guard, that is. All right. So let's take a look at what we have for the rest of the night tonight. Mid-60s for the valley. Again, we've got 99 for Redding. I've got 98 degrees for Red Bluff. If you see 100 degrees, I wouldn't be surprised, quite honestly. And for the mountains, pretty warm here as well. Upper 80s to around 90 for Siskiyou and Modoc County. And for the East Mountains, you're talking mid to upper 80s, even around 90 for Bernie. So not much of a drop from what we saw today here for tomorrow. And here it is. This big arc in the clouds, that's the ridge of high pressure that is giving us this heat wave. And let me tell you something too. You can bet if we had this same ridge of high pressure over us a month ago, we'd easily be talking about temperatures probably 110 degrees or higher. So it's the angle of the sun now. That's the important part. So not as hot as it could be with this type of ridge of high pressure. There's the heat. This right here is what I've got my eyes on. All right, because as it moves closer to us, this is going to potentially bring us some of the rain I was talking about for the mountains over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and even quite possibly into Monday. So essentially what happens is this. You've got the area of low pressure right here. We take a line and we kind of put it right down the center of that trough of low pressure. To the east of that is where we typically have what we call the most unstable air. And this is where we typically will see most of any showers or thunderstorms developing, especially in the higher elevations. Now, I'm saying a chance for storms because there's just not a lot of moisture for this system to work with. And we'll take a closer look at that in just a second. What's going to happen as we go into next week, that'll dip to the south and then come back in our direction by the end of next week into that next weekend. This could again potentially bring us another chance for some rain by the end of next week and maybe the next weekend. This same area of low pressure kind of wobbling back and forth. So as long as that's in place, and it looks like it kind of intensifies and gets a little bit stronger, and then we have this right here kind of getting caught up in some flow. So overall, this will kind of really help to keep our temperatures down as well. So remember I was talking about the lack of moisture for this area of low pressure to work with. Take a look at this. All of these oranges, this rusty color here, that means it's pretty dry conditions out here. You have to get into the green where it's saturated and where you have most of the moisture. If you look off over the Atlantic Ocean, of course, the hurricane, that's where the moisture is, right? But we don't really have much of that. Now, that being said, there still is enough moisture that that area of low pressure will be kind of squeeze some of that out. We'll see some of those showers and some of those thunderstorms as well. In fact, you can see that here on Futurecast. Here we are as we go into Friday. I don't anticipate any showers or thunderstorms. Just looking at another dry day, another hot day as well. Temperatures quite possibly around 100 degrees for some of the warmer spots in the valley. Now look at Saturday though. There you can see Saturday at 5 p.m. What we're seeing here is the showers and thunderstorms popping up. Now, Futurecast mainly picking up on Trinity County and off to the east into Plumas County. But we could see some activity in Lassen and also in Modoc County and Siskiyou County as well. But it looks like those chances may be even a bit slimmer, okay, as we go into Saturday. And there's Saturday night, it's gone. Now we're going to take you into Sunday. And look at this, another round of showers and thunderstorms possible again on Sunday. And not to mention Monday. Now it looks like most of the activity will be to the east, off into Lassen and Plumas County, maybe even Modoc County as well. And then remember that low pressure I was talking about? That will dive down to the south and west. We'll see dry conditions. But look at this. As we go into Friday of next week, you see these clouds? Those clouds are in advance of that same area of low pressure I was talking about moving closer. And this is why we're talking about the potential for some rain toward the end of next week as well. All right, so here's your 10-day trend. Look at that. This This is nice, right? You look at what we got here for tomorrow, Saturday, even Sunday. It's still in the 90s, even into Monday, at least for Reading. But mid-80s, the average high is about 93. So if we can even drop it below 90, we're in good shape. But man, I'm telling you, 86, 85, boy, I'll take that all day long. That's awesome. I love it. All right, I'm sure a lot of you do too. But maybe some of you like the heat. Maybe you don't want to see 80s. I don't know. I don't want to be the one to decide that for you. That's up to you. All right, so here you can see temperatures in the 50s and 60s for the valley. There you can see in the 40s and 50s for the higher elevations tonight. Let's take you to your Friday, okay? We're getting ready for the weekend. It's going to be hot, and even the weekend will be fairly warm as well, as you're seeing the 7-day outlook. But 95 degrees for Chico, 92 degrees for Oroville tomorrow. But yeah, we could still see 100 degrees for Reading and Red Bluff. And then temperatures upper 80s to even some low 90s for some of the higher elevations for tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. And this is what I call a broad brush, because again, a broad brush forecast, that is, because I don't think we're going to see rain in all these locations every single day. It just means that the potential is there for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that's for pretty much all of the mountain locations here, right? And then it dries out after that. Now for the valley, it's dry. Okay, now that's what we're seeing here for the next 7 days. And temperatures are dropping as well. I mean, even Reading dropping below 90 by Tuesday, mid to upper 80s by Wednesday and Thursday of next week.